Hey guys, welcome back. How are you? I hope you all are good and doing well. So here I'm going to start a new playlist to learn Ruby on Rails, but this time I will not explain anything manually. I mean I will not write any code, or at least I will try to not write as much as code that I am doing in the previous lectures or in previous videos. Okay, here what we will do that we will build a real world Rails application, but we will use the Copilot to help us to implement the things. Okay, so here we will see how we can leverage the AI facilities to faster our development. Okay, so let's dive into the first lecture. Okay, and here what we will do that I have created a Rails application and named it as job portal. Okay, and I just created a new Rails at application, but now I will use the Copilot to implement things in it. Okay, so here you can see that this is the Rails default welcome controller show page. Okay, and this is my project. So here you can see I don't have any models, I don't have any views except layouts, and in the JavaScript folder is also empty, and I don't have any controllers as well. Okay, so first what we will do that we will go to the Copilot. Okay, and we will instruct the Copilot that write create a custom controller for us where we can set the root path. Okay, so here we will see that how to write better prompt. Okay, and how to use the AI. Okay, however this is a very fast task for us as well. Like if we do it manually, that will be faster as well, but let's see how uh, AI will help us. Okay, so here I'm throughout the playlist I will only use the Copilot. Okay, and you can also go for the free plan of the Copilot, or you can try with at least a free trial version. Okay, and if it suits your development practices or you are satisfied with this, you can go and you can purchase the premium plan. Okay, so let's start with that quickly. Okay, so here what we need to do that we need to ask Copilot that I have a Rails application which is default rendering the Rails controller welcome index. So now let's create a root page for me. Okay, so here you can see that, yeah, first let me show that what are the agents. So here we have two agents, ask and edit. Okay, so the ask mode is like simply uh, select any code and ask Copilot that what this code is doing. So in Copilot will quickly answer you about that. Okay, and the edit mode, so edit mode, in edit mode the Copilot will uh, generate code based upon our instructions. Okay, and it will ask us to whether we want to keep it or whether we want to apply it within the file or not. Okay, and even after applying it gives us two options that do we want to continue this or not. Okay, so here first let's try to generate a Rails controller. So let's instruct the Copilot. So here we can say let me increase the chat width. Okay, and also increase the font size as well. Okay, so here we can say Copilot that I have this Rails application which is in Rails 8 version. Okay, I just created this application which is rendering the default index page of Rails welcome controller. I want you to help me set up a custom controller, and there you need to create an index section and then set this action as the root path for my application. Okay, and the controller name must be home. Okay, however this is optional. You can ask the Copilot to generate a better controller name for you, but usually as a best practice either we should have home controller or welcome controller. So what here I did that I give a prompt that I have this Rails application which is in Rails 8 version. I just created this application which is rendering the default index page of Rails welcome controller. I want you to help me set up a custom controller, and there you need to create an index section and then set this action as the root path for my application, and the controller name must be home. Okay, now what we need to do, that submit this query. Okay, so what the copilot will do, that copilot will read this message, train this prompt, and based upon your prompt it will make some changes. Okay, so here you can see that it has read the routes file, because what we instructed, that we instructed it that create a controller and with index section, and then set this index section as the root path of our application. Okay, so you can see that this is making some changes. So what it has does, that it has created a home controller, okay, and set this as the index section. Okay, and then you can see that it has created the home controller. So here you can see the routes.rb, and in the routes.rb you can see it added root home hash index. Okay, and here you are seeing two options, keep or undo. Okay, so whatever the code generated by the copilot, just go on it and first try to review this. Okay, and after reviewing this code, if you are satisfied that this code is doing exactly what I wanted, or exactly what I needed, then you can keep it, otherwise you can just do undo. Okay, so here you can see I am keeping it, so let's keep this. Okay, and then it will go take you to the next file, so which is home controller index section. So if you want to keep it, just keep it. Okay, and then you can see that it has added a index.html.trb as well within the app views home. Okay, and index.html.trb. So here you can see that it has added a template with some class and some jumboton and so on. Okay, now if you are reviewing this and if you are satisfying with this, you can keep it, otherwise you can undo it. Okay, so let me just wrap the words. Okay, so as a sample we are just satisfied with this, so what we can do, we can just keep it. Okay, so now here you can go through this. So what it has done, so it read the home controller with the index section, so it created the home controller and then created a index.html file, and then set this as a root page path in the rb. Okay, and now it is saying that let me start with the rails application server, that everything is working. Okay, so you can just skip it, because our I have already uh, I'm already running the rail server in the background. Okay, and here you can see the summary of your changes. So what it has done, that files created or modified. Okay, so first it will show you that what the new files it created, or what the existing file it has uh, mentioned. Okay, modified. Okay, so here you can see controller home controller.rb. So created a home controller class that inherits from application controller and added an index section or method. Okay, and then in the view directory, it created a view template which is index.html.trb within the app views home directory. Okay, and then it will it has modified the routes, so it set a root home hash index to the make it the home controllers index section the root path. Okay, so what it means, now you can go through this. So when users visit your application's root url, they will now see your custom home page instead of the default rails welcome page. Okay, the home page displays a professional looking welcome message for your job portal. The routing is properly configured to the handle the root path. You can now start a rail server with rail server and visit this. So now, okay, so now let's go to the browser and refresh our page. Okay, so if we refresh our page, we can see that the root path has been set by the copilot, and now you can see that we have a index.html template rendering, and in the logs you can also verify that previously when we were sending the root path or visiting the root path, what it was doing, that it was processing by the rails welcome controller index as html. Okay, now if we refresh our page, you can see that it is processed by the home controllers index as html. Okay, so what we did here, we just prompted on, or we just provided a prompt that exactly what we need to the Copilot, and Copilot does that thing for us. Okay. However, this is very simplest form that the Copilot help us. Okay. Now you can see that even it has added some bootstrap classes and so on, but we are still able to see the plain HTML files here. Okay. So we need to instruct Copilot that I am still seeing this as the plain HTML, not the bootstrap design. So we can ask Copilot to add the bootstrap things into our application, that we will see into the next lecture. Okay. So this is the very simplest lecture where what we see that how to provide command to the Copilot. Okay. Now we will add bootstrap into our Rails application in the next lecture using the Copilot. Okay, so here you can see we did not write any single line of code and we got these things done. What we did here, we added a custom controller, set the root path and created template for that custom controller's index section. Okay, now in the next lecture we will ask Copilot to add bootstrap for us in this Rails application. Okay, meanwhile just try this and we will meet into the next lecture. Till then, tata. Goodbye, take care, and stay safe.